All right. Are you ready? Sorry, Mom. It's time to get arrogant. Hey, welcome back with Brain Muffin at the Beer Reviews. So today is an interesting, I don't know about special, but it is a very interesting day for this channel. It's happy and it's sad at the same time. So many years ago in Cincinnati at Jungle Gyms, technically the Oscar Event Center, Stone Greg was in town and I bought the t-shirt. I think this is double X. I've lost probably almost 20 pounds since then, and not in a good way. So I've got the t-shirt. Now, technically, it is a stone glass. I don't know if I can show that. I don't know if it shows up, probably doesn't. But it is levitation, but it is a stone glass. From the stone tasting, where I met Greg, I did photography, so I got in for nothing. You are welcome, Junior. His staff didn't want to do it. I cannot find double. I even asked this guy in Johnson City, do we ever get the double? He's like, very rarely. So I didn't understand how good things were years ago when Greg was in town. He's actually was in town in Cincinnati twice. I know a guy that they were having a beer tasting kind of gathering and he showed up for that. I think he was in Kentucky that day. Stone, in the meantime, there's no independent label on here anymore. A thing pioneered by Greg. I don't know the complete story. I don't know why they sold. All I know is the quality seems to have dropped. Now, maybe it's perception. Maybe it's not real at all. And my understanding from the guy, I wish I would have gotten his name, at the libation station. I love it because libations is a thing that I like to use when people don't understand. Imperial Russian Stout and Old Guardian were ones that I bought every year religiously for years until they didn't have them anymore. Mm-hmm. I've done flights on this channel. Part of when in 2021 when we were gonna move, I went through all my old stock of everything. IRS, my Old Guardian, my 120 IPA from Dogfish Head. I think I even had a Tokyo still around. That was something that I bought from Scotland. That was gosh, who was that? Brewdog? That I imported. That beer, I bought 6 bottles for $100 $100 total. Maybe it was $100 to ship. I forget now. Maybe it was $150. It was not cheap. It was one of those things that had I been thinking, because I think it was like $6 a bottle back then. Tokyo is 18%. It was like 50 pounds for the whole box, and I only put 6 bottles in it. I should have filled it. I should have sold those things. I mean, I probably could have made, I don't know if I made much money, but I could at least made my money back. So today we have the Arrogant Bastard Ale. And yes, YouTube, I said that. And yes, I did meet him. I actually helped. I won't, Greg said I was instrumental in bringing, and I forget the guy's name who was working for this distribution and working for Stone at the time. I actually helped him at the very first Columbus Beer Fest. We did kind of I don't remember what they called that panel, but there were a bunch of people who paid to get in like 2 hours early. And we had 4 beers, 4 stations with 4 different breweries. And I think we did 4 beers each. And I walked a lot of freaking steps, up and down, up and down, up and down. And there was a beer, the name's going to escape me, I can tell already. And it was one of those that they did a collaboration with another brewery. It was 2 other breweries, and there were 3 versions of this. The Stone was by far the best one. They did it again like a couple years later, and it was not as good. I don't know why. But, that was back in the day. In fact, someone posted on Facebook, shared a memory just today about the beer fest down on Fountain Square, and I didn't realize it was 12 years ago. And so the Columbus Beer Fest had already happened a couple times, I think, by then. So that must have been 2010. And I used to do photography for Cincinnati Beer Fest for years. And Bryon, I forget his name, and there was another guy who did stuff. Stuff happened. I misunderstood. I eventually, Greg's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And Craig, yeah. And Matt, I used to run into on occasion. In fact, the last time I saw him was at, what's the name of it? Horror Hound, and that was in Blue Ash. And that was that 2021? I think so. Yes. So I was there with WCBS, and he came by with his son. That was nice. I'd seen Matt at the Jungle Jim's Beer Fest too. And at some point, I swear, I'm going to go back to Cincinnati, and I'm going to volunteer for the Cincinnati Beer Fest. It's usually in February. I just need to just do it. I just need to sign up, volunteer, work a station. I'm not working photography. For the most part, most of the pictures are meaningless. You need like a dozen, and that's pretty much it. But anyway, I got done shooting my pumpkin beer reviews. I still have another pumpkin beer. I think it's Rogue. I have the stuff from the Juicy Pack from New Belgium. I can only find one. I could have sworn I had 3 beers. I could have sworn I had all 3, but I can't find them. So, and I was like, you know what? I've got to do the Arrogant. Now, this is a beer I do not believe I've ever reviewed on this channel. And if I have, it doesn't matter. So when Stone re-released this beer, it's just as good as I remember. Now, this is a malty, hoppy brown ale. As you can see, and the can has not been sitting out very long. I pretty much grabbed it out of the refrigerator, sat down, and hit record. Now, these lights that are just off camera, these are the dining room lights. They are hot. I like them and hate them at the same time. They're very orangey. I'm not quite as sunburned as it looks. But that is unbelievable head from a can. So I was like, you know what? I'm 3 sheets to the wind. I've got another pumpkin beer to finish. I am 56 years old. So it doesn't take much anymore. I'm way out of shape. Ski season's going to kill me. And I don't mean that figuratively. So, on the nose, here's what's crazy about this. As a home brewer, this is the kind of beer you're going to make all the time. You're going to use caramel 20, you're going to use caramel 80, and you're going to use caramel 120. Love blend. Okay? If you're not a home brewer, that won't make any sense. I'm not going to explain it because I don't give a crap. Okay? I was going to say care there. Actually, I was going to say something else, but I don't know. Very malty, hint of biscuitness on the nose. There's also a hint, and this is going to make no sense. If you're a home brewer, it'll make perfect sense. There's a hint of wet rag, and that's you actually want. You kind of inhale deeply, and you get a hint of hop bitterness. And right at the end, there's this maltiness that comes up that when you encounter, the first time you encounter it, you wonder, have I messed up? Do I throw the batch away? Okay? And no, you don't. And then it kind of mellows out the CO2. I mean, look at that head retention. This is out of a canned beer, okay? This is the kind of head retention that I expect on a bottle, especially bottle conditioned ale, which is all I make, okay? There's bitterness. There's over-the-top maltiness. There's a hint of something that shouldn't be there, but it is, and it's very strong. Back in the day, when I used to use bleach as my cleaner, there was an off flavor that sometimes would show up, not always. And now the bottle used to have the Arrogant Bastard motto, This does not have it on it. I don't remember it. Essentially, it's here's to me, something blah, blah, blah. But this is, in my view, of all the beers they make, this is a reminder of the home brewer origins of Stone. Okay? Now, listen, I do not fault Greg for selling. I do not fault him. There's a lot of economic BS has happened in the last few years, especially around the China virus. Thank you. You know, this is what happens when you elect Democrats. I'm sorry. I figured this out in the 80s. As much as I don't like Republicans, the Democrats have always, and I don't, look, JFK and RFK tried to change the party, and we know what happened to them. You can go all the way back to Woodrow Wilson, and even before then, Theodore Roosevelt on the Republic. You can go back to the explosion of the Maine that got us in the Spanish-American War. You talk about uniparty and all that. I'm not talking politics here, okay? It is annoying, and we need to do something about it. But what I like about this is it says, dagnabbit, we were homebrewers first. Thank you, Jimmy Carter, for making it legal. I think Oklahoma was the last to recognize it a handful of years ago. But this is the type of beer you typically make as a home brewer. You get some crystal malt. That's why I was talking about the Love Bun. You get some pale malt. You get probably some honey or corn sugar, probably 3 pounds of honey or corn sugar. People complain about it being cidery. You get a crap ton of hops. You hop the crap out of it because you can't control off flavors because you're using a plastic bucket to do your fermentation. You might do a primary, you might not, secondary, you might not. Now, mine's all glass. I have carboys. I have 6.5 gallon carboys for primary, 5 gallon primary carboys for secondary. I have 2 of each. I still have them. They survived. And so this would get cleaned up. But what I really like about this is it shows the origins of Stone more than any other. I understand. We're past 13 minutes. I get it. I'm more than 3 sheets to the wind. I get it. The dogs are snoring. It's way too late. It's time to turn the air back on. The reason I give this a 5 out of 5. This beer is not for the timid. It's not for the uninitiated. It's over the top malty. It's over the top bitter. And the bitterness seems to come from hops. It also seems to come from tannins. It's got biscuity aromas that are a bit too much. It has hops that come up real late, especially if you burp and you come back through the teeth. It has that hop bitterness. It has hints of hop pininess. It has even more subtle hints of hop fruitiness. It's unapologetic. And I really, really want the double is probably more alcohol. And so some of that stuff actually gets toned down, believe it or not, from the alcohol. But in my view, and really I should turn it this way so that you have the Stone logo. Okay? Greg and company, whomever still may be around. What I like about coming back to this beer, okay, and granted, I said when any brewery sells out, I'm not buying their stuff anymore. Goose Island, I'm still on the fence. At least it's not Anheuser-Busch or AB InBev. And makes a difference. Greg made a fuss when Samuel Adams bought Dogfish Head, but at least you still had a craft brewery buying another or merging or whatever happened there. Okay. Jim and Jim Cook and Greg Cook, same last name. I don't think, well, they're probably related, but probably go back away. One from Columbus, one from Cincinnati, right? If I get that right, or is it Cleveland? I-71, either way. I suggested many years ago an I-71 collaboration between Sam Adams and Stone. Greg said no on Twitter. And I really wish they'd reconsider, because What I like about Sam Adams is the consistency and the cleanliness. What I liked about Stone was the arrogance and the unabashedness, okay? And they really ought to come together on a collab now that lets Stone be Stone and lets Sam Adams be Sam Adams. And maybe do some kind of, one's made in Cincinnati, right? There's a Sam Adams brewery in Cincinnati. Contract brew in Columbus if you have to, because I'm pretty certain Greg's from Columbus. I don't think it's Cleveland. If it is Cleveland, great. Go to Hop and Frog and do something there, okay? Because Columbus has a pretty big Anheuser-Busch brewery. Take a Sam Adams malty beer and hop the crap out of it. On the other way, maybe it's a two-way collab. Maybe you start with a Stone stout, like the IRS, very malty, very roasted, and you mellow it out some. I don't know. Sam Adams used to do some really fantastic sours, which I haven't seen in years either. But they also do things like Noble Pills, which is garbage. Always has been. I've had it in bottles. I've had it on draft. I've had it fresh. I mean, literally within days of making it in Cincinnati, I've had it in Cincinnati. It's always been crap. What I like about the idea is the attempt to make a German-esque beer for something that's known for ales. So let's take that concept. Let's hop it. Let's malt it from a Stone side. And let's put a lager yeast, but do ale temperatures. Let's get the esters. Let's get those notes up that some of the Sam Adams beers have. And maybe, just maybe, we make it a sour. I don't know. So anyway, I'm way long-winded. Sorry, but the fizz is getting to me. I also let the dogs out and it's rainy. And I did the New Belgian Voodoo Ranger, the spicy pumpkin, and the pepper really got to me. And I was sneezing like crazy, so my allergies are kind of kicking up, and it's way too late. So anyway, guys, I thought I got to review this beer because I'm well past the time of I can't drive. I can see the time it's getting to 18 minutes recording. So anyway, I still think a I-71 collaboration should be done. This is why I can't remember if it's Columbus or Cleveland. It's going to drive me nuts. And I doubt Wikipedia has the right information. So Sam Adams, my understanding, it started in Boston, but Jim Cook is originally from Cincinnati. And that's the recipe. I want to say it's his grandfather. His father worked at a brewery in Cincinnati, and I believe that's the one that they bought. I don't remember what it was. It closed in the 70s. And Cincinnati used to have a huge beer. I mean, there's several books have been written about the beer history of Cincinnati. I would like to see a follow-on with the whiskey, because you had Scotch-Irish immigrants along the waterfront, mostly Irish. So you had a lot of whiskey drinkers. Over the Rhine, you had a lot of German immigrants. You had beer drinkers. And more than once, they didn't get along. And that's an understatement. And there's a lot of bootlegging that happened in Cincinnati. And according to my cousin's research, some of my cousins, I guess second or third cousins, were part of it. And there was a lot of stuff in Newport, across the river in Kentucky. So I know I talked about BJ's, some of their IPAs felt like it took a poor IPA and ran it through a gym sock. You get the hints of this in this, and it's, in my view, this is my view, that's the home brewer influence into Sam Adams. So again, I'm now 20 minutes, and my wife's going to come out here and say, will you shut the freak up? It's time to go to bed. Thank you very much for stopping by. Do you like Arrogant? Do you not like it? Have you ever had it on draft? I don't know if it's ever on draft. This is the first time I've seen it in cans. I've seen it in bottles, the 20 ounces. And if there's double anywhere in Tennessee, please let me know, or in North Carolina. Essentially 2 hours drive from Johnson City. We'll say that Virginia as well as Kentucky. Let me know and I'll find one because I really miss the double. The double has the alcohol that tones down a lot of this stuff and kind of kicks you in the butt on the back end. Thank you very much, and we'll see you. Goodbye. Toby, you done?